Om. 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 Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Gurureva Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Chinmayam Yapyat Sarvam Trilokyam Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva bandhuscha sakha tvameva Tvameva vedya dravinam Tvameva Tvameva sarvam mama deva deva Tvameva sarvam mama deva deva. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So where are we in our text?
Starting chapter 41.
Starting chapter 41.
Okay. Just need to get my water.
My hair is still wet.
Okay. Chapter 41. Develop the witness attitude. Develop the witness attitude, and you will find in your own experience that detachment brings control. The state of witnessing is full of power. There is nothing passive about it. Question. What is the daily and hourly state of mind of a realized man? How does he see, hear, eat, drink, wake, and sleep, and work and rest? What proof is there of his state as different from ours? Apart from the verbal testimony of the so-called realized people, is there no way to verify their state objectively? Are there not some observable differences in their physiological and nervous responses, in their metabolism or brain waves, or in their psychosomatic structure? Maharaj, you may find differences or you may not. All depends on your capacity of observation. The objective differences are, however, the least important. What matters is their outlook, their attitude, which is that of total detachment, aloofness, standing apart. Question.
Let me stop there. So the scriptures will say one person of knowledge can recognize another. So I can only share with you about the Mahatmas that I have had the grace to know. That if we tune up our minds to the infinite and empty out, tune in to where they are, there's this vast emptiness. I call it the thunder of silence. Now, it can take many of us time and trust to attune to the teacher. But there's no person there anymore. Outer signs, as Maharaj says, you can't tell. They may have an ordinary job. They may be the janitor in the local school. Likewise, someone may have fancy orange robes and a jeweled turban and thousands of devotees and just be a good salesman and not be a person of steady wisdom. Even power, one has to be very careful not to confuse someone with a kind of charisma that has a lot of power, which is not the same as that incredible peace and emptiness, the shunya prasad of the person of steady wisdom. That's all I have to say. Let's see what Maharaj says.
Questioner, does not a Jnani feel sorrow when his child dies? Does he not suffer? Maharaj, he suffers with those who suffer. The event itself is of little importance, but he is full of compassion for the suffering being, whether alive or dead, in the body or out of it. After all, love and compassion are his very nature. He is one with all that lives and one that oneness, one and oh, he is one with all that lives, and love is that oneness in action.
So, one of the things I like to say, as yogis, we work on the letting go of our own vasanas, our own kleshas, our own sanskaras. But the emptier you and I become, the more we feel the thoughts and feelings of others as if they were our own. Isn't that a cop out, Jim? Aren't you not taking responsibility for your own stuff? Whether it's the thoughts and feelings of others makes no difference. You deal with them the same way. Doesn't make any difference at all. Where in the end, there's no such thing as my mind or your mind. That's an illusion. These thoughts and feelings in the end don't belong to anybody. Any thoughts on this? This is why yogis who are very sensitive and get all caught up in trying to do protection. I'm going to surround myself with white light so I'm not afflicted by, oh, the thought atmosphere is so negative. You may know people like that, or I got to get grounded, I'm going to save this because, oh, there's such bad energy here. Anybody who's been down that road?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all Brahman. So the person of steady wisdom and the yogi practices this, wants to have a mind like a sieve, just lets all of it pass through. But their nature is love. Infinite patience. Any thoughts on this?
I do have like a practical situation I'd be worth running by you.
Sure.
So, recently, I have my brother, he's very troubled, okay? That's the nutshell. And I was with him and he just, it's like walking on eggshells. Anything could trigger him in any way. So, but when he's wonderful, but he's just, so it was within a couple minutes of getting together, he totally exploded. It clearly had nothing to do with me. He made it all about me, but it was not. And, I stayed there really steady and he was literally running around, like literally like on a bicycle, going into parking lots, like doing all these things. And I just stayed at a corner and I was just trying to figure out how can I respond in a way that doesn't increase his shame and doesn't, yeah, that was my main priority. And so I stayed there and stayed there. And then he finally came back around and I, and he puked on me some more and then took off. And then I thought, okay, well, I handled that well. But then I was,
Yes, you did.
it was taking a long time to get to that. And then, thank you. And then I felt for hours, I was like breathing and I was trying to be very conscious of this influence on me. And I thought I thought I wasn't really, because I was able to stay so calm, I thought I wasn't so affected, but I could really feel that it triggered some stuff in me that was strong. And so for the next several hours, I was really actively working with that material in me. And then I actually started chanting my mantra with his image in my mind, and it was shocking how immediately it cleared and how I felt like I was giving him a blessing. It was like really incredible.
Excellent. You intuitively came to what I was going to suggest.
Okay, but
I take the slogan, the awareness of suffering is an invitation to prayer.
mm,
That's why the Lord brings it to us.
okay, even if it's somebody else's suffering that you're,
Of
yeah,
course it is.
yes. Well,
And you know, there are many ways to deal with it. One of the things I recommend to people is Tonglen. Are you familiar with that?
yeah, loving kindness meditation.
No, it's a much more somatic thing. If you Tonglen, just Google it, and Pema Chodron has done a wonderful little essay on it. Basically, what you do is you don't resist, you don't fight, you breathe in the apparent suffering. And you breathe out peace. So, like for your brother, all his anxiety and fear and anger, no resistance, just breathe it in and then breathe out peace.
Mm,
But you intuitively did much of the same thing by just going to your mantra.
yeah, but then I thought, well, I need to set up some kind of boundary because this is not the first or the millionth time, right? And I thought, I've been so patient and accommodating and kind and like assisting and or attempting to assist um and always walking on eggshells. And so then I thought, well, I'll I want to let him know under, like there is a boundary here.
Why?
Well, that's why I'm bringing this up because this is related to the,
What would Amaji do?
well, it's this question mark of I feel like
Sure, wacko people come to the
all the
ashram.
time, all the time.
And what does she
She
do?
just gives them even more love. Yeah. Like she basically, yeah, it's shocking to watch her with these people.
Assume a virtue if you have it not, as Hamlet said to Gertrude. Practice being like Amma there.
Mhm. This is where the idea of uh like codependency versus selfless service, like that's a juxtaposition I've
Okay,
done with forever.
Codependency means I'm uncomfortable with someone else's behavior or suffering, and I want them to change.
Mhm.
That's codependency. Do you understand that?
Yeah,
So I think my problem is that they're not behaving right.
right.
That's, go
Yeah,
ahead.
and in this case, like I'm not, like, I don't like to be treated the way he treated me, but that wasn't really my issue. My issue is like, I care about him and the world, and this is a reflection of his suffering, and so
And
that's the angle I'm coming at it from.
And it's all the mother's problem, not yours or mine. All we can do is be present, be loving, intend the good. So here's an interesting story that I love. So this exercise, Tonglen, is a Tibetan Buddhist one. And His Holiness the Dalai Lama was once asked if he does Tonglen. And he says, yes, I do. And then the person asks, do you think it does any good? And His Holiness says, I don't know, but I feel better when I do it. What a wonderful answer.
Mhm.
So these wacko people who come to see Amma, does her love fix them? Maybe, maybe not. They may leave with just as much mental problems that they have. The teaching says the Shakti will eventually ripen and bear fruit. Maybe 2 or 3 lifetimes from now, Who's to say?
What about putting yourself in a knowingly putting yourself in like in a situation where you're a target?
How can you be a target when there's nobody there?
Hmm.
The psychological person is always trying to protect, defend, solidify ego, the personal sense of self. The yogi, I'm not saying she's able to accomplish this overnight, engages in a way of life of self-abandonment. It's about the breaking down of all boundary. It's abandoning the small self so that there's nothing left to be hurt or challenged or triggered. Not easy. But that's the much higher practice. And practice infinite patience. Beings like Amma are not the great exception, they are the great example. They show you and me what it's like to be fully human. Did that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
If we immediately say, she's different, she's unique, she's an avatar, I'm a worm, she's a saint, then there's no value in the teaching. We look, we see what the saints do, and we endeavor to tread the path that they tread. And you hang with your brother until you can't do it anymore. It's progress, not perfection. When you have to let him go, you say, bro, I need to go. Amma doesn't hang on to a person in the line for hours. How much time do they get with her?
Yeah, seconds.
Yeah.
Maybe a minute or two.
Yeah. And she may intuitively determine, I need to be present to this person a little longer. Another person, no need, just hug and off they go. But she's not setting a boundary. It's what she's doing to make herself as available as possible to as many people as possible. So this is good yoga for you with him. I think you did a great job of not personalizing his craziness. And no, you don't have to spend time with him. One thing you do need to do is make sure you're not trying to fix him.
Mhm.
All you can do is love him. And humanity, a human being is not a healer. God is the healer. All you and I can do is be empty. And healing presence, healing words may come through us. The Master Jesus said, I of myself do no thing. It is the Father within that doeth the work. One of my favorite stories about the Master Jesus, he and his dudes, the disciples, are walking down the road. And a woman in the scriptures say with an issue of blood, she had chronic vaginal bleeding, came up behind him and just touched his robe. And he stops and he turns and says, who has touched me? For he had felt power go out of him. Isn't that a wonderful story? Like he wasn't there
Mhm.
as a person. The power just went whoosh.
Mhm.
Oh, who did that? And I'm sure Amma does the same thing.
Mhm.
She's gone. He's absorbed in brother. But the psychologist will say, protect, defend, boundaries, limits, take care of yourselves. They'll say, love yourself. And they mean bubble baths. They don't mean parama prema, love the self. I don't know if this is helpful.
Yeah. Thanks.
And even Alma at times has to shut the line down, eat, go to the toilet, sleep, doesn't she?
To some degree. Not to a normal degree, but yeah.
It's always about expanding, letting down the sense of limit. Very good question. And sometimes it's easier to work for another when they're not physically present.
Mhm.
In your own morning meditation,
Mhm.
you can just bring your brother into mind. He's in your consciousness then.
Mhm.
And it's not about fixing him. It's just about knowing here or nowhere is the presence of God. Here is peace. The self in him is Brahman. Try it.
Mhm.
That's what I do. Anybody else have thoughts on this?
Yeah, I've in my work at the Cadillac Hotel, uh, just what you mentioned before about being your mind is like a sieve, the same way that I can try to practice not holding on to thoughts. It's the same, that experience is the same with thoughts of others. So I'm around people who have no filters. I mean, they say what's on their mind. I mean, I hear a lot of things and and it's been the exercise for me is in just being a witness, just being present, being a witness, letting that flow and not trying to fix people or not trying to hang on to anything. Everything is,
Perfect.
yeah, it's like I take it all kind of at face value. If this is what it is, this is in the moment. And I have found that that's been really a good exercise for me in being a witness, and just letting it happen and I feel like it's allowed me to be present without um I don't know, just to be present. Yeah. So that's what I work on.
Well, what we all need to look at is, do I have a desire to fix the other person because their suffering triggers me?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah.
That compassion muscle is really strong. So that I feel, I understand the difference between, I intellectually understand the difference between feeling someone else's suffering and it triggering me and feeling somebody else's suffering and it triggering my compassion. But even that compassion being triggered is like it that makes me want to take action.
I get it. And what I'm saying is the action you're taking may be fruitless.
I believe me, I've got plenty of experience with
Yeah.
that.
And most of the time, what we really need to do is be present.
Mhm.
I doubt if Amma writes a lot of checks for people. Does she?
Well, I mean, she's got a massive humanitarian organization operating with, so she doesn't write individual checks, but
Yeah, but if somebody comes up, does she hand them Advil?
no, but she does provide like people housing or medical care and things like that happen.
Infinite compassion, yeah.
Mhm.
For those, but my point is, it's what she's doing there is more a ministry of presence, a
Mhm.
Shaktipat, rather than fixing stuff.
Mhm.
And Swamiji was the same way. He had microeconomies and hospitals and schools and stuff like that. But he used to say, my love is like a fire hose. Whoever gets in front of me gets blasted. And all he was just empty. He wasn't going, you know. But you'll figure it out. You're not a beginner in this work. And I'm sorry you got such a wacko brother. He must be in a lot of suffering.
Yeah. Thank you.
Older or younger?
He's younger by 9.5 years.
All right, going on.
I was just going to say this reminds me of something earlier in the book about a couple weeks ago where it's like the teacher, I mean there's a gift that's being given. There's nothing you have to take. or it's not something the teacher wants from you. This is like, and that's what the presence is, um, and so it just reminds me of that too.
Mm.
Yeah. Going on.
Questioner. People are very much afraid of death. Yeah, Maharaj. The Yanni is afraid of nothing, but he pities the man who is afraid. After all, to be born, to live, and to die is natural. To be afraid is not. To the event, of course, attention is given. Questioner. Imagine you are ill, high fever, aches, and shivers. The doctor tells you the condition is serious. There are only a few days to live. What would be your first reaction? Maharaj, no reaction. It is natural for the incense stick to burn out.
And there is a book, we actually went through it, of his final teachings
Ah,
while he had throat cancer.
Mm.
And it's wonderful to see his detachment from that whole process. My mother used to say, you gotta die of something. Going on.
so it is natural for the body to die. Really, it is a matter of very little importance. What matters is that I am neither the body nor the mind. I am. Questioner, your family will be desperate, of course. What would you tell them? Maharaj, the usual stuff. Fear not, life goes on. God will protect you. We shall be soon together again, and so on. But to me, the entire commotion is meaningless, for I am not the entity that imagines itself alive or dead. I am neither born nor can I die. I have nothing to remember or to forget. Questioner, what about prayers for the dead? Maharaj, by all means, pray for the dead. It pleases them very much. They are flattered. The Yanni does not need your prayers. He is himself the answer to your prayers. Questioner, how does the Yanni fare after death? Maharaj, the Yanni is dead already. Do you expect him to die again? Questioner, surely the dissolution of the body is an important event, even to the Yanni. Maharaj, there is no important events for Jnani, except when somebody reaches the highest goal. Then only his heart rejoices. All else is of no concern. The entire universe is his body. All life is his life. As in a city of lights, when one bulb burns out, it does not affect the network. So the death of a body does not affect the whole.
Or the image I like to use, so when you guys came over today, it's over. So you didn't have shadows. Did you grieve the loss of your shadows?
No.
You probably didn't even notice.
No.
Or if you go to the beauty salon or the barber shop, you walk in and you're somewhat attached or connected to your hair. And the barber or the beautician goes chop, 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 chop. And you see the hair on the ground, and you're like, my God, is it getting white? But you're not on the ground going, oh, I've been cut off. There's no locus of identity with the hair on the floor of the beauty salon or the barber shop. So also, when the body falls away, very similar. Going on.
Questioner, the particular may not matter to the whole, but it does matter to the particular. The whole is an abstraction. the particular, the concrete, is real. Maharaj, that is what you say. To me, it may be the other way. The whole is real, and the part comes and goes. The particular is born and reborn, changing name and shape. The jnani is the changeless reality, which makes the changeful possible. But he cannot give you the conviction. It must come from your own experience. With me, all is one, all is equal. Questioner, are sin and virtue one and the same? Maharaj, these are all man-made values. What are they to me? What ends in happiness is virtue. What ends in sorrow is sin. Both are states of mind. Mine is not a state of mind. Questioner, we are like the blind people at a loss to understand what does it mean to see. Maharaj, you can put it as you like. Questioner, is the practice of silence as a sadhana effective? Maharaj, anything you do for the sake of enlightenment takes you nearer. Anything you do without remembering enlightenment puts you off. But why complicate? Just know that you are above and beyond all things and thoughts. What you want to be, you are it already. Just keep it in mind. Questioner, I hear you saying it, but I cannot believe. Maharaj, I was in the same position myself, but I trusted my guru and he proved right. Trust me if you can. Keep in mind what I tell you. Desire nothing, for you lack nothing. The very seeking prevents you from finding. Questioner, you seem to be so very indifferent to everything. Maharaj, I am not indifferent. I am impartial. I give no preference to the me and the mine. A basket of earth and a basket of jewels are both unwanted. Life and death are all the same to me. Questioner, impartiality makes you indifferent. Maharaj, on the contrary, compassion and love are my very core, void of all predilections. I am free to love. Questioner, Buddha said that the idea of enlightenment is extremely important. Most people go through their lives not even knowing there is such a thing as enlightenment, uh, let alone the striving for it. Once they have heard of it, a seed was sown which cannot die. Therefore, he would send his bhikkhus to preach ceaselessly for the 8 months every year. Maharaj, one can give food, clothes, shelter, knowledge, affection, for the highest gift is the gospel of enlightenment, my guru used to say. You are right, enlightenment is the highest good. Once you have it, nobody can take it away from you. Questioner, if you would talk like this in the West, people would take you for mad. Maharaj, of course they would. To the ignorant, all that they can not understand is madness. What of it? Let them be as they are. I am as I am, for no merit of mine, and they are as they are, for no fault of theirs. The supreme reality manifests itself in innumerable ways. Infinite in number are its names and shapes. All arise, all merge in the same ocean. The source of all is one. Looking for causes and results is but the pastime of the mind. What is lovable. Love is not a result, it is the very ground of being. Wherever you go, you will find being, consciousness, and love. Why and what? Why and what for make prep? Why and what for make preferences? Questioner, when by natural causes thousands and millions of lives are extinguished, as it happens in floods and earthquakes, I do not grieve. But when one man dies at the hand of a man, I grieve extremely. The inevitable has its own majesty, but killing is avoidable and therefore ugly and altogether horrible. Maharaj, all happens as it happens. Calamities, whether natural or man-made, happen, and there is no need to feel horrified. How can anything be without cause? Maharaj, in every event, the entire universe is reflected. The ultimate cause is untraceable. The very idea of causation is only a way of thinking and speaking. We cannot imagine uncaused emergence. This, however, does not prove the existence of causation.
So for me, the easiest way to illustrate this is if I have a sports car in my dream and I get in the sports car and I turn the key and the car starts. Did turning the key cause the car to start? Did it?
I would think yes, but.
There's no car there. It was a dream. You see the point?
Mhm.
Yeah. So we have what looks like cause and effect in this world. But what causes the child of a barren woman? What causes the horns of a hare? What kind of bricks are used to build the castle in the clouds? It's nonsensical. So what we perceive as cause and effect seems to make sense to the waker mind in the world of Vyavahara transactions. But in truth, it's like starting a car in your dream. To the dreamer, there's cause and effect. But to the waker, no.
So karma is just a conversation on the level of the mind.
Yes. It's a useful construct for those who are bound to ego identification. I like to use the comparison, is Newtonian physics real? Well, it's a useful description of what goes on for 99.9% of all our transactions. But if you look at the very large astrophysics, no, the Earth does not circle the sun. The Earth is going in a straight line. The sun is bending space-time, or the very small. There's no real subatomic particle that exists. There's just its probability. Everything fades. But from the vast majority of all our transactions, Newtonian physics works just fine. So also in the world of the dream of this world, karma is a very useful notion. But even that can be blunted by tapas
Mhm.
and completely overturned by God's grace. Ishvara has no rules. That's why we have what we call miracles in the world. Now you can try to find karma, cause and effect. Maybe, maybe not. I think you probably know the image of the Ashwatha tree. It shows up in Gita. It also shows up in Kathopanishad. whose branches are below and its roots are above. Do you remember this metaphor?
Mhm.
So what does it mean? The branches below are the fruits of all our actions, literally. But the cause lost in this mystery of the infinite.
Did you say lost?
Yes, like where did the first vasana come from? So if your actions today are caused essentially by your actions from yesterday, and that was the day before, and yet in the lifetime before that, well, where did it all start?
Mhm.
You can't avoid
Mhm.
God.
So, but then, are there no laws of the universe then?
There are apparent laws of this universe, but have you ever had a flying dream?
No.
But you know some people do.
Mhm.
So in that world, flying is possible. I'm legally blind in this world. Most of the time, I see perfectly in a dream, and I'm not fat. I've never walked up a hill in a dream huffing and puffing. I do in this world all the time. Different laws.
What about laws of the divine?
What does that mean? The self is beyond all law. It's empty and void, yet full of being. But out of the self waves Prakriti, nature, by means of Maya. It's not even really there. And it seems to have physical and metaphysical and divine laws, maybe. My experience of it is always interpreted through our minds. It's very funny. What I like to say is in the beginning, seeing is believing. The table is real. The carpet is real. Howard's real. God mysterious. I don't know if there's really God. The end is exactly the opposite. The self is the only thing you will ever know for sure. Are you you? Yes? Natasha, are you you?
I'm,
Who sees the phone? Do you not see the
I
phone?
see the phone.
Yeah. That I that you're talking about, that's yourself. You don't get another self.
Mhm.
But you do not see, hear, taste, touch, smell, emote, or think that. Yet you do not doubt that you are. You may have all sorts of funny ideas about that self, but that's all they are is funny ideas. They may cause you to suffer. The self never really suffers. It's just all in the mind.
Mhm.
That you are, that you shine as the light of awareness is the only thing you will ever know for sure. Everything else, the end, is mine without exception and quite mysterious. In the Mandukya Upanishad Karika, written by Gaudapada, the second chapter, the fourth Karika, Gaudapada says the phenomenal world is quite unreal. And the proof of its unreality is that you can see it. Only the subject, aham, is real. What's our definition of real? That which is never subject to negation, that which always is, that which never changes. That's yourself. You're not going to get a new self, but you could have all sorts of weird ideas about yourself. All right, going on.
Yeah, where we are. Maharaj, all happens as it happens. Calamities, whether natural or man-made, happen, and there is no need to feel horrified. Questioner, how can anything be without cause? Maharaj, in every event, the entire universe is reflected. The ultimate cause is untraceable. The very idea of causation is only a way of thinking and speaking. We cannot imagine uncaused emergence. This, however, does not prove the existence of causation.
So what the scriptures imply is what Carl Jung called synchronicity. So the same intelligence that's making your eyelids blink up and down is moving traffic up and down Grand Avenue. It's spinning galaxies. Whatever actions are being taken place in China are linked, not caused, but synchronous events. All of it is a one great whole. This is the deepest meaning of Mahamudra. It's a term you find in Tantric Buddhism, but it's a very good term. What is a mudra?
It's like a, I mean, I know it as a hand gesture that's.
Yeah, it's a gesture. It's usually done for the intention of invoking energy. And they're archetypical. You look at religious art from all over the world and you see the same ones. They don't vary. But for example, if you go to a nightclub and you see people dancing and you see some dude with his hips going back and forth, that's a mudra. You know? So actually, the deepest understanding of a mudra is it doesn't cause energy. It's the body's response to energy. So, for example, Howard, if you're a manager and you're hiring people to work at, say, the museum gift shop, and people come in and during their interview, their legs are crossed and their arms are like this, what is that saying to you?
That they're closed,
Yeah,
closed off, or defensive.
yeah, that's a mudra. They're not deliberately doing that. Well, I need to block my chakras. But that's what's happening. So a mudra is a response to energy. The jagat, the creation, is Prakriti. It's nature's response to divine energy and intelligence and love. All of that's different words for the same thing. Swamiji used to say it's a cosmos, not a chaos. It's organized. And it's all interconnected. It's marvelous when you begin to meditate on it. You take any dimension of manifestation, from the grossest physical up to the most sublime. And if you really inquire into it, you cannot find individuality. It always resolves, dissolves into infinitude.
If you take what? It always.
Any dimension. So it looks like your body is separate from his body. But what is your body? It's like an event. When you eat a banana, when does the banana become part of you? Where did your molecules come from? They're stardust, literally. Some star supernovaed a billion years ago. And that stuff drifted through space and is literally comprising what looks like your body. You're breathing air. Does the air belong to you or does it belong to Howard? Stop breathing. That's my air. No. Mind, you can't find a thing called my mind. Oh, I've got issues. Where did your issue come from? Oh, from my family of origin. Well, where did they get them? You can't find a thing called my thought, my issue. It's just mine. Doesn't belong to anybody in the end. You can't find anything that doesn't resolve itself back into the infinite. It's an illusion. This idea of otherness. You turn around and you look at the tapestry of Lord Krishna. It's an illusion. What it is, it's a mass of colored threads. You cannot pull the Krishna out of the tapestry. Do you see that?
Mhm.
Do you see the snakes in the carpet?
Yes.
Are they snakes or are they colored threads that are woven? Are they in any way separate from the fabric of the carpet itself? So it is with everything that appears as separate in this world. On every level, be it the physical, be it the subtle, be it the causal, it's all Brahman. Sarvam Kalvidam Dhamma. One of my favorite sayings from Chandogya. Verily, it's all God. All right, next one.
Questioner. Nature is mindless, hence irresponsible.
Oh, no, it's not. Let's see what.
But man has a mind. Why is it so perverse? Maharaj, the causes of perversity are also natural. Heredity, environment, and so on. You are too quick to condemn. Do not worry about others. Deal with your own mind first. When you realize that your mind, too, is a part of nature, the duality will cease.
Yes.
Questioner, there is some mystery in it which I cannot fathom. How can the mind be part be a part of nature? Maharaj, because nature is in the mind. Without the mind, where is nature? Questioner, if nature is in the mind and the mind is my own, I should be able to control nature, which is not really the case. Forces beyond my control determine my behavior. Maharaj, develop the witness attitude, and you will find in your own experience that detachment brings control. The state of witnessing is full of power. There is nothing passive about it. And that's the end of the chapter.
So what is the point? 90% of healing, of growing spiritually, is seeing what's really there. We will intuitively know what needs to be done when we really see what's going on. I think the clearest example that comes to me is alcoholism. Fellow talks to a friend and says, I don't know what the problem is. It's somewhere between the fifth and the 10th beer. And I lose control. And his friend says, no, it's the first beer. And the guy says, you're crazy. Nobody ever got drunk on one beer. And the other fellow says, if you don't drink the first beer, you don't have to worry about the fifth or the 10th. Person couldn't see what was really going on. If you had my problems, you'd drink too. Why don't you put the plug in the jug and see what happens? Oh, I've had a drink now for 6 months. It's amazing. I haven't been fired since. I've been thrown out of a bar since I quit drinking. My friends are talking to me again. My problems are going away. The person didn't see that the drinking was causing the problems. He wasn't drinking because of the problems. That's just a gross example. So, like, back to what our conversation about you and your brother. If you stay in Sakshi Bhav, the attitude of the witness, you will intuitively know what to do next time you're with me. And the more in your own meditation, you intuitively grok the oneness of the world. This is all Krishna. It's all the mother, whatever language you want to use. And we lose the compulsion to want to fix other things so that I don't feel agitated. All right, that's the end of this chapter.
Yes.
All right, it's a good place to stop today. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om.